Good evening, everyone. This is Robert Jamieson. Welcome to our second online lesson for the first term. Um, I hope you enjoyed last week's lesson, and I've got something a little bit different for you today. Now, last week, one of you apparently complained that they didn't get asked any questions. So that's not unusual because I can't usually fit everyone in. So I normally try to rotate it round a bit. So hopefully we'll give everyone a go over time. But there is a really good way how you can make certain you get asked lots of questions, and that's to send me in one of your games. And if I think it's a suitable game, you perhaps can be the guest student for that week, and we'll look at your game. So you'll get lots of questions then. So don't panic if I haven't asked you in one particular week. I'm sure you'll get asked shortly. Okay, now I will start at the top. We'll start with Callum again. Hello again, Callum. You there?
Hi.
Hi. All right. You want to start us off today?
Yep.
All right. Now,
Okay.
before we get into the puzzle, I'll just recap last week. Now, last week I mentioned 4 elements of chess. Now, I'm going to test your memory. Can you remember what those 4 elements were?
Time,
Time,
material,
1. Material,
king,
2.
safety.
King, safety, 3. Going well. 1 to go.
Ooh,
Time, material, king, safety.
is that space?
Space. Well done. Here we go. So last week, if anyone missed it, we talked about the 4 elements of chess: king, safety, time, material, and space. So what I'm going to do over these lessons is, like when we go through games and stuff, I'll relate what's happening in the game back to these 4 concepts. So just keep them in the back of your mind: time, material, space, and king safety. All right, let's move on to today's little puzzle. All right, now, you didn't get close, or you didn't get started, or how did you go with this?
I didn't get close.
Didn't get close. Maha got pretty close, but then gave up. All right. Well, let's see what we can do. Now, these little puzzles are good fun. It's not like a proper chess game, but basically chess is about thinking logically and solving problems. So when you're playing your game, your opponent might have some tactical threat against you, and it looks really good. So you've got to think of a way out of it, something he's perhaps missed. You've got to outthink your opponent, solve that particular problem. So this is good training for real chess, even though it's not specifically a game as such. Okay, so let's get started. So white has to play 4 moves and end up in this position, and black has to play 3. All right, let's go back to the start. All right, what do you think might be a first move for white, Callum? What would be a good suggestion?
E3.
Oh, hang on, we need a bishop, don't we? How can I put a bishop on here? I'll tell you what. Let's go back and start a new game so I can get a bishop there. Add game. There we go. All right. Put it in presentation mode. All right. So your first move, you're going to play E3. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So black's first move. What do you reckon black's move is going to be?
D6.
D6. Yep, that's pretty well obvious. All right. Now, what's your second move going to be? Bearing in mind you have to get rid of that black bishop, because in the final position that bishop's gone.
Oh, this is tricky.
What would you like to do? Move your queen, your knight, the pawn.
How about my queen F5, F3?
All right, let's say move queen F3. Now, what's black going to do to get rid of that bishop?
Bishop G, Bishop G4.
Bishop G4. All right. You're going to take him.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have a problem. It's Black's turn to move. He's made 2 moves, so he's got to make 1 more move. But all his pieces are in the right spot in the diagram we had before. So we're stuck. So we've done something wrong. All right, let's get Maha to join in. Is she there? You there, Maha?
Yes.
All right.
I think I got it now.
You reckon you've got it? All right. I've still got Callum on the line, so you tell us what you reckon the solution is.
E3.
All right. So E3 for the first move. What's Black going to do?
D6.
Yep. All right. What's your next go?
E4.
E4. All right. Black's next go.
Bishop G4.
Okay. White's next go.
Takes G4.
Right, now, you've got the same problem as Callum. It's Black's go, but all his pieces in the right spot. If he moves anything, he's not going to have the right position. So you're very close. All right. Thanks, Maha. All right, Callum, back to you. So what can we do? So you think E3 or E4 first move?
A4.
All right, we'll try E4. D6. All right. So
A4, D6.
now let's work this out logically. So if Black's bishop is going to be captured on move 2, like Black makes 2 moves on White's third move. No, if Black's bishop's going to be captured on White's third move, Black can't make another move then, can he? Is all his bits are in the right spot.
Go to Bishop A6
So hang on. So Black's bishop has to be captured on the 4th move. You follow that?
Yep.
All right. So we want somewhere to move. Oh, it's White's go first. So we need White's go, and then Black's bishop might have to make 2 moves so that it's captured on the 4th move.
Queen F3.
So Queen F3. All right. What are we going to do now?
Bishop F5.
All right. What are we going to do now?
Queen G4. Queen G3.
Queen G3. Yep. You're thinking Bishop G4. Queen takes bishop. And Black's had his 3 moves, but White's had his 4, and the Queen's in the wrong spot. The Queen has to be on D1.
Oh.
All right. Has anyone else solved it? If you reckon you've solved it on the questions, type in I've solved it now, and I'll get you to show it. If not, I'll tell Callum the solution. So anyone solved it? Let's go back to the start. All right, Callum, let's try E3. Oh, hang on. Derek thinks he solved it. We'll give Derek a go. You there, Derek?
Yes.
You reckon you got it?
Yes.
All right, give us the solution.
E3.
E3, yep.
Queen
D6.
Yep.
G4.
Bishop D7.
Bishop.
Oh no, it's White's move. Bishop. A Queen E2.
Queen E2, yep.
Well, there. But then the bishop goes to
Bishop D7.
Yep.
same problem.
You've got the same problem. Doesn't work. All right, good try, Derek. All right, Callum, let's see if we can work this out logically. So we'll try E3, D6. That's pretty obvious. Now, we said Black's got to make 2 moves with his bishop, not 1. So White can't capture the bishop on the 3rd move. White's got to capture the bishop on the 4th move. So the question is, which square do you reckon the bishop is going to be captured on for White to end up with this position? Pawn on E4, Queen on D1. which square does the bishop have to be captured on?
G4.
No, Derek's got the right answer. Derek's saying D1. So how could we organise that? Whites go now.
Queen H5.
Queen H5. All right. Then I'm going to play Bishop G4. What are you going to do? Not Queen takes Bishop, because then Black would have no move.
E4.
Yes. Then?
Bishop D1.
Yep. And Queen takes Bishop. Yay! Well done. And I think Derek got that as well eventually. And Oliver's saying he got it. Excellent. So that was a nifty little puzzle. It was pretty hard. But if you think about it logically, you can sort of work it out, as we did in the finish, saying that the bishop had to make 2 moves and had to be captured on D1. All right. Very interesting. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the game. Oops. That didn't work. We'll go back and we'll go on to today's game. Okay. All right, thanks, Callum. I'll give someone else a go. All right, let's go down to Rachel. Hello, Rachel. Hey.
Hello.
Hello. All right. You happy to start off the game with me?
Okay.
All right. Now, on Sunday, we had the RJ Shield tournament at Bentley, and I recorded some of the games. So I've got a pretty short game here I want to show you today between Ren Haiying, who I don't know, and Sean Zillman, who's one of my students. He's a little boy about 8 or 9 or something, probably 8, but he's not a bad player.
Okay.
So let's have a look at this game. And we looked at the general principles last week. Now we want to look at specific things we need to think about when we're choosing our moves. So what are the 3 things we're trying to do at the start of the game, do you think, in the opening?
Develop our pieces.
Develop our pieces. Yes, 1, that's good. What's number 2? Control.
Control the middle.
The centre, yep.
The center.
All right, and the 3rd one? So develop our pieces is time. Control the centre is space. So the 3rd one's either material or king safety.
King safety.
And how do we make our king safe?
The castle.
We castle, right. So they're the 3 things we're trying to do. So I hope everyone understands that. That's pretty basic. Now, these kids, they started off and they played the sort of boring game that 90% of juniors play. They go E4, E5. So they've both got a pawn in the centre.
Yes.
What move would you do next, Rachel?
Knight.
F3 or C3?
Knight. F3.
F3, correct. Why do you choose that? Why not develop, say, the bishop or the queen knight? Why do you develop the king's knight?
It's attacking the pawn.
Yes, and?
To castle the
Yes,
king.
it's clearing the way to castle king side, so we can castle faster and make our king safe. So knight F3 is the normal move. Now we're attacking the king pawn, so black goes knight C6. Then white puts out his other knight. Black puts out his other knight. And white puts out his bishop to c4. So he's attacking the... Whoops, hang on. He's attacking the weakest point in the game. What am I looking at? I want presentation mode. Sorry, here we go. So he's attacking the weak point on f7. And black does the same thing, bishop c5. So they're all copying each other. Then white goes d3 to get his queen bishop out, and black goes d6. All right, so how do you reckon they're going? Have they played a good game so far?
Not yeah.
You don't think they've played a good game?
Yeah.
You think they have? So they've got some pawn in the centre, so they've got a bit of control of the centre. They've developed 3 pieces, and they're both ready to castle.
Yeah.
So it sounds all right?
Yeah.
All right. If you're a sort of very inexperienced player, it's probably all right. But if you want to be a better player, it's not all right, because they've forgotten to do one thing. Now, everyone put your thinking cap on and type in the questions. What do you reckon these players have forgotten to do? They haven't sort of prepared something. Maha's saying castle, but they can castle next move, Maha, so that's not a problem. But they've chosen this opening and this setup, but there's a drawback with what they've done. Callum's saying time, space. Oliver's saying centre. Nope. They haven't planned ahead for some particular feature. We shouldn't just be making one move at a time. We should also be thinking, what sort of game do we want? What's going to happen in the future? Oliver and Maha both saying space. What do you reckon, Rachel? Can you see any problem with what they've done so far?
Probably develop the other bishop.
But the other bishop can get out. I mean, they can put their bishops, if white wants to move his bishop, he can put it on d2 or e3 or g5, so it's not going to be a problem getting the bishop out. Nearly, but not quite.
Do a breathing space for their castle, probably.
All right. Now tell me about that again. So what's the problem with the castle?
Do a breathing space.
Sort of. All right. So the problem with this is both sides can castle. They can both put their other bishop out. But the question is, what are they going to do with their rooks? See, how is white going to get his rook on h1, or when it goes to f1, or his rook on a1? How is he going to get his rooks into the game? Because the position's full of pawns, so the rooks can't really get out. And they're pretty powerful pieces. We'd like to have them helping us. So what should they have done to enable them to get their rooks out fairly soon? Any idea, Rachel?
It's actually different.
How could they get their rooks into the game? No idea?
First they probably had the castle.
Yep.
And
Then do what?
They put the rook to e1, I think.
Right. How does that get the rook in the game? Because there's a pawn on e4 blocking it.
Probably didn't you move your knight?
All right. Not quite what I'm after. All right. I'll give someone else a go. Thanks for your help, Rachel. Let's try Cheyenne. You there, Cheyenne? You there? Talk to me. Cheyenne, say something. Nope. All right. Oh. Are you there? Last chance. No. Okay, we'll go on to Oliver. You there, Oliver?
Yep.
All right. So, what have they forgotten to do to get their rooks in the game?
Probably open files.
Yeah, because rooks like open files or half-open files. All right, and we haven't got any open files here. So if you have a look at it, how do we get an open file? Like white can't push d4 because it's covered 3 times. He can't push f4 because his knight's in the way. And if he's castled, then the king would be in check. So it's very hard for him to create an open file. So what should he have done maybe earlier in the opening to make certain he can get an open file?
Move more pawns up.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the start. Now, let me show you some openings. So here is the King's Gambit, where I go e4 and f4. All right. Here is the Queen's Gambit, where I go d4 and c4. Here is the Scotch Gambit, where I go e4, d4, e4, e5, d4. Or we could have, what else do we have? We could have knights out first and then d4. The Scotch game, I think. Right, so what do all those openings have in common? Did you notice a pattern?
The centre pawns moved up.
Yes, almost. So what sort of pawns do we need? What sort of pawn structure do we want?
Pawn wall.
We want 2 pawns side by side. So all of those openings that I just showed you, all of them had 2 pawns side by side. And most openings should prepare for the middle game by getting 2 pawns side by side. That way, either the pawns can advance, like they're protected, they can help each other advance, and we're getting more space. Or if, say, black has a pawn structure like this, we can then do a swap, and we've got a half-open f-file, so that our rooks can now do something. They have a half-open file to play on. So white's got the f-file, black's got the d-file. So let's go back. So we'll do the moves of the game we've got so far. So they haven't prepared 2 pawns side by side. So you understand that, Oliver? Is that okay?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Now, let's go back a little smidgen earlier. Now, white just played bishop c4. Now, I want everyone to put their thinking cap on. So black's in copy mode. He played bishop c5, but he might have a better move. So I want you to think what move you would play for black, not bishop c5, and type that in on the questions for me. What would be an interesting and good move for black? Think about what I said about getting your pawns moving and opening up some files. Callum suggesting d5. The only drawback of that, Callum, is I just take it and a pawn down. Yeah, Mahar's making you can't play d5 because you lose a pawn. Anyone else got any ideas? So it's not d5, it's not bishop c5. What do you think, Oliver? You got any plans?
I'm not quite sure.
All right. Well, one of the things I tell my players to play or to think about is to look at all checks and captures. Now, most of the time they're silly, but sometimes they might be really good. and it's sort of like a surprise move. So you have a look at all checks and captures here and just see if there's anything that might appeal. Callum's trying b5 to sacrifice a pawn. That's an interesting idea. Would open up the b file, but may lose a pawn. Maha's suggesting knight e4. What do you think of that, Oliver? Knight takes e4. Would that be a good move? What's her idea?
Probably not.
Can I just take it and win a piece or not?
Yeah, I reckon.
You sure? What can black do here? Is a piece for a pawn down. He wants to get his...
Oh yeah, d5.
Black can do d5. Now, what's black got here?
A fork.
He's got a fork, and he's got two pawns side by side. So we're going to end up with open files all over the place, and he's going to get his piece back. Okay, looks like Maha's come up with a clever idea. So let's go and have another look. All right, knight e4. All right, so now we're white. Maha's just played knight takes e4 on us. What move do you reckon we should do? So everyone, think what move you could do for white here and type in the question what would be a good move for white maybe. What are you thinking about, Oliver? Well, knight takes knight's the obvious one, but then he plays d5. It doesn't look too good. Any other
Maybe bishop d5.
Could do bishop d5, but then we're just going to be a pawn down, aren't we? We'll maybe play knight takes knight on d6, and we're just a pawn down. So what could we do? Knight takes knight's the obvious move, but we don't just look at the obvious move. There might be some other move. Now remember I said look at all checks and captures?
Knight takes e5, maybe.
It could do knight takes e5. But then he does knight takes knight and knight takes bishop, so we might end up losing a piece. Just 1 second, I'll talk.
d4.
You there, Nicole? Can you hear me? No. Nicole says she can't hear me, but she's not talking to me. All right. No. Look at all checks and captures. Come on, Oliver. Anyone help Oliver? Type in the questions. An interesting idea for white. Not knight takes knight. Callum.
Maybe d3.
d3 will still be a pawn down. Now remember what I said, look at all checks and captures. So how many checks and captures are there here? There's knight takes e5, there's knight takes e4, and there's one more. Callum's seen it.
Knight d5.
That's not a check, that's not a capture.
Hmm.
Come on, there's one more.
Queen e2.
That's not a capture. What about bishop takes f7 check? Did you look at that?
No.
All right, king takes bishop, knight takes knight. So now we've got our pawn back, and the piece back. So it's even material. Black plays d5. All right, so now what's happened here? Remember our four principles. So what is black down on? What's his problem with our four principles? Time, material, space, king safety. Which one's he down on?
King safety.
King safety, because he can't castle and his king's out in the mulga. So that's a problem. But now, what is white down on? Time, space, material, king safety.
Probably space.
Space, yes, because we've got these lovely two pawns in the centre. So this is a nice unbalanced position. Black's down on one factor, king safety, and white's down on the centre. So which one's going to be better? I don't know. Maybe I think I'd rather be black. I think the centre would probably be more important for me. But what? Whoops, hang on. Let's go back. Knight takes e4. What white actually should do. Quite often this occurs in junior games, so bear this in mind. If this happens to you, the best line is knight takes knight. When he plays d5, what you do is you do bishop d3. So then when he takes the knight, you can take back with the bishop, and now you're threatening... Oops, hang on, wrong colours. Start again. Again. That's better. Now you're threatening to take on c6, and then the knight would take on e5. And you haven't lost the two bishops, so this is okay for white. Not much in it, but okay. All right, keep that in mind. All right, thanks, Oliver. I'll give someone else a go. I'll try Cheyenne one more time. You there, Cheyenne? Say something.
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep. All right, cool. You want to do the next couple of moves with me?
Yes.
All right, so we got bishop c5, d3, d6. Okay, so white's go. What do you reckon white should do here? So remember, we're trying to seize the centre, get our pieces out, make our king safe. So what move fits in with one of those things?
Castle.
Castle. Castle's probably... Any other moves you think about? What about develop your pieces? Is there a developing move to do?
Yeah.
Nothing spring to mind? What about bishop d5? Is that a good move?
Yes.
Yep. Now we've got a pin going with the knight pinning the queen, and we've developed our fourth piece. So that's what white chose. Castle would have probably been reasonable, but bishop d5 looks all right. Now, so far they've both been copying each other. Now, what's the problem with copying, or is that a good idea? If you were black, would copying be a good plan for you, do you think?
No.
Why not? What's the problem with it?
You don't get more pieces.
So the problem is, if you're just copying and white's got the move first, at some stage he's going to get in a check or a capture that's going to mess up the copying. You won't be able to copy him back, and almost certainly white will end up with an advantage. So in general, just copying your opponent isn't a good thing. All right, now let's pretend we're black. White's just done this naughty pin on f6. What do you reckon we should do? So everyone, let's help Cheyenne. On the question box, type in what move you reckon you do for black here. Because we're worried about that pin.
You should move the queen.
We could move the queen. Where would you want to move it to?
D7.
We could move it to d7. That would get out of the pin. The only trouble is then he would take our knight, and that would give us double pawns and open up our king. So our king safety, we couldn't castle kingside probably. So we'd be compromising on our king safety. So that was one idea. So we need another idea. Liam's suggesting h6. What do you think about h6? Would that be a good move?
Yes.
All right, so if he takes us, we just take back to the queen, and we've gained it like a free developing move, so that'll be all right. Or alternatively, if he goes back to h4, so he's still got the pin, So what could we do now to get out of that one? Can you see what black could do here to get out of the pin?
Yes.
What could he do?
You move this coin.
Oh, that would have the same problem as before. It'd take the knight. What we could do now is we could do pawn to g5. See, blocking the bishop, attacking the knight. The bishop would have to go to g3. So that would get us out of the pin. The only trouble is we've now got a bit of an airy king side because we've moved the pawns in front of our king where we wanted the castle. So our king safety would be a problem. All right. But he didn't do that. He went and just castled. All right, I'll give someone else a go. So thanks, Cheyenne. Who can we try next? Let's try Liam. You there, Liam?
Yeah.
All right, Black's decided to ignore the pin and he's just going to castle. So he's making his king safe according to our plan. Now, is that a good move or a bad move in this position?
It's okay, but maybe you should deal with the pin first.
Yes, it's not really okay because we need to say what is white threatening. So when white makes a move, when an opponent makes a move, we should immediately say what's he threatening. And he's probably threatening, oops, hang on, I'll get rid of these colours again. He's probably threatening to play knight d5. So now the knight and the bishop will both be attacking that f6 thing, and he'll be able to take there and double our pawns and open our king up. So we've just got out of it with a6. We could also maybe have done bishop e6. So if the knight comes up, we could take it. So that would be the two best moves, but black sort of ignored what his opponent's doing, and he's just gone for castle. All right, so you're white. What are you going to do now?
Maybe play knight d5.
Yep, that's the obvious move. So we're putting the pressure on now. So now if black tried to break that pin, like we did before with h6, what would you do?
You'll take it.
Take what?
Take the knight.
With what?
The knight.
So you take with the knight, I take back with the pawn, and what do you do now?
Take with the bishop.
The bishop can take the free pawn on h6, so you win a pawn. So poor old black, he can no longer do h6 to get out of the pin. He's just trapped in this horrible pin. So we need a solution. What can he do? All right, everyone, if you were black here, what move would you play as black? What can he do about this evil pin? Oliver's saying bishop g4. Everyone else is thinking hard. What do you think, Liam? Would you play bishop g4 or something different, or what?
Yeah, maybe bishop g4, but that's sort of going back to the copying, and that's not very good.
It's probably not going to be too good. Is there any alternative?
Maybe you could move your queen or something.
Now, if we move our queen, then f6 is undefended. He can just take on f6. What I'm thinking is maybe we could do bishop e6, threatening to take the knight. That might force him to do something about it. What he did, he actually did the bishop g4 thing in the game. All right. Now, what can white do? What would you do if you were white? So he's doing to us what we did to him. Except we're a move ahead. Anyone want to help Liam on the questions? Type a good move for white here. Rachel wants to take on f6 or something. Maha, I think, wants to take on f6 as well. What do you reckon, Liam? Have you found any good move? Oh, Liam's gone offline on me. All right. I'll mute Liam. Let's go up to Callum. Hello, Callum. Say something, Callum. Yeah, Liam's deserted me, so I need your help. What's a good move for white?
Hi.
Good move for white is what I need here. He's just gone bishop d4.
Bishop f6.
We could, but is that knight
Bishop
going
f6.
away? Do we have to take it now?
No.
No. All right. So look for another move. Remember what black was going to... h3, yes. What a good move. We go h3. So if he takes our knight, we just take with a queen and we're laughing. Now, if he runs away, like we could go g4 maybe, and his bishop goes to g6. And if we wanted, we could then maybe take the knight. And now he's got double pawns, which isn't the end of the world. But have a look at his bishop on g6. It's permanently trapped in there. It's never going to be able to get out for the rest of the game. So we're going to be like a bishop ahead on the rest of the board. So he would have a dead bishop. So h3 is probably the good move. All right, white didn't do that. He did bishop takes knight. Is that okay or not okay or what? What do you think, Callum?
A bit not okay.
It's sort of all right, but he could do that any time. So the rule is you preserve your options. You don't, do a move until it's forced. If he can't break the pin, keep the pin on. Anyway, he took, and now white just went and castled. So he forgot to say, what is black threatening? So was black threatening anything in this position before castles? What could black do now that's a bit of a threat?
Knight d4.
Yes, he can do knight d4. So he's doing to us exactly what we did to him. So if we had gone back, let's go back a move. So instead of castles, we could either do that h3 thing again, or we could even do c3 or something. So his knight can't come in. So it's important you ask yourself, what's he threatening? All right, he's gone d4. What do you reckon white should do now?
Oh, this is tricky.
Right, let's get some help, everyone. On the questions, white to play. Type in what move you reckon would be a good move for white. Black's sort of threatening to take on f3 and double our pawns and stuff. So that may not be totally the end of the world, but it's not real good. So Callum wants to play b4 to try and distract that bishop. Liam's thinking about h3. Rachel's thinking about c3. What do you reckon, Callum? Anything appealing?
Not really.
Okay. I have a sneaky move. So bearing in mind that black's king safety is a bit compromised, I'm thinking I could play queen d2. Now, this looks pretty silly because you could say, well, black could just take on f3 and I can't take back because then the knight falls. But what's my plan? Can you see what I could do here, Callum?
Queen h6.
Yeah, queen h6.
Knight takes f6.
And now he's not going to be able to stop knight f6, and that's either going to be checkmate in the corner, or he's going to have to give his queen up for the knight. So that would be pretty sneaky. So if I was white, I might give a go queen d2. White had a similar idea. He played queen c1. Now there's a problem with this. So everyone type in, if you were black, what move you'd do here. What's the problem with white playing queen c1? It's a pretty big problem, and I hope all of you can see it. Callum's seen it straight away. Come on, guys. What's the problem with queen c1? Maha's missed it. Liam's seen it. So two have seen it. One's missed it. Callum's seen it again. Remember what I said before? Look at all checks and captures. Right, tell us, Callum, what's the problem?
Knight e2.
Not just knight e2 wins the queen. What a shocking move. So, apart from asking ourselves what is he threatening when he makes a move, what we've got to do is we've got to decide on our move. So like white might say, okay, I'm going to play queen c1. But before he does it, he should check and say, what's black going to reply? Maybe I've missed something really terrible. So had he said, what's black going to reply, he might have noticed, oops, I've lost my queen, knight e2. But fortunately for him, black wasn't thinking about that. He didn't look at all checks and captures. He just looked at all captures. So he went knight takes knight, check, pawn takes, bishop takes. Now, this is getting really interesting because white is suffering from airy king and black is suffering from airy king. Both have problems with king safety. So the question is, who's going to get in first? Whose king is going to be the least safe? So have a think, and you can type for me whether you reckon white's king is the one in the most trouble or black's king. It's white's move here. Someone can win really quickly if they're clever. Callum's reckoning it's black. Maha says white's safe, so I guess Maha's saying black's king's unsafe. Charlie reckons white's king's unsafe. So 2 for black, 1 for white. Oliver's saying queen h6, so I guess he's saying black's king's unsafe. That's 3 for black, 1 for white. Anyone else have a thought? Rachel said not safe. Who, Rachel? White or black? Liam saying black. All right, Callum, what do you reckon? Black unsafe or white unsafe?
Black unsafe.
Black unsafe. All right. So you can be white. So you finish me off if you reckon I'm unsafe as black. What's your move? Come on, haven't you got a move in mind?
Queen h6.
Queen h6. What a good move. All right, now if we were black, we would sit there and say, what is Callum threatening? And the answer is, oh my God, he's got knight f6 check. And I can't cover that with any more pieces. I might have to give up my queen or get checkmated. So maybe Callum's right and black's in big strife. Unless we're black and we can find a really clever move. So everyone put your thinking caps on. If you were black, would you resign here because he's got our queen or checkmate? Or can you find a clever move that might save the day? Let's see what people can think. Callum has found a good move. Oliver has not found a good move. Bishop e3. Doesn't help us too much, Oliver. Just loses a bishop. Maha's going bishop f2. Not really, just loses a bishop. So far Callum's the only one with a good idea. So look at what white's threatening. but also look at what you could threaten. Come on, everyone, think hard. Bishop h5. No, that's not going to save our queen, Oliver. We're still going knight f6 check, and you have to give up your queen or get checkmated. Okay, Callum. You're the only one who's found it, so tell everyone what your good move is.
King h8.
Yes, what a lovely move. But I'm just going to play knight f6, and I'm going to mate you on h7, aren't I? Or have you got a way out?
There's a way out.
What is the way out? You tell everyone.
I'm pretty sure bishop f2 check or something.
That only gets out for one move. I just take it, and then I'm still mating you on h7, aren't I?
Yeah.
I thought you had it. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you lost. You want to resign? Because I'm threatening mate or I'm winning your queen.
No.
You don't want to resign.
No,
You
I don't
need
wanna
everyone to
win.
help you? Come on, people, help him then.
Yep.
Oliver's going bishop e4. That only delays it for a move, Oliver. That's not much help. Nicole says black is going to lose. Maybe he is, unless we're clever enough. Remember what I said, look at all checks and captures? Maybe we're desperate here. We need to look at all checks and captures. Rachel has found a good move. Well done, Rachel. Nicole's still thinking black's going to lose. Callum, what are you thinking?
Queen takes f6 or something.
We could do that. Queen takes f6, so Rachel said that. That would be okay, but I have an even better one. Remember I said look at all checks and captures? Let's look at rook g8 check. Knight takes rook. Queen takes check. King can't move. We put our queen in away. Checkmate. Black wins. So all of those who said white's king is in the most trouble, you were right. But most of you said black's king's in the most trouble, and you're wrong. Anyway, that was a nifty little game that illustrated a couple of things. So just going back, I want you to think in the opening about getting those two pawns side by side so you can get your rooks in the game later. That's pretty important. And then this game was decided by tactics. So what you have to do is when your opponent makes a move, say, what's he threatening? And when you've decided on your move, before you make it, like that Queen C1 move, say, what's he going to reply? And just do a quick little check. So that should help you avoid a lot of blunders in your game. Anyway, that's the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you all next Thursday for our third lesson. So good night, everyone. Thanks very much.